Chapter 2. That Time I Tried to Be a Girl. Narrative written and read by Doolin. Baby Birch character hand-drawn by Doolin. Let me start this chapter with a story. On a family trip to Colorado when I was young, during the years when I was learning from my parents, God, and the world, that who I felt myself to be wasn't okay, we got our family picture taken at one of those shops that recreates black and white, old-timey Western scenes. As the photographer was getting folks set in their costumes, he approached me with a costume that a little boy would wear. Feeling that dissonance as a child, both being seen by a stranger as boy, but also knowing that I was not to indulge or encourage that, I became distraught and had a meltdown right then and there. I have so much tenderness for that part of me that was working so hard to protect me, but was also so confused. In the final photo, there I am in a gaudy dress, hat, with a parasol, looking absolutely defeated. I tell this story because it captures so well the incongruence of my childhood, having my boyness be witnessed and seen by the world, but also the sense of danger and shame that came with that. It captures the reluctance, but also pressure to perform femininity so as not to be punished, to do as I was told, because who doesn't want to belong and be loved? The thing was, I wasn't very good at performing femininity. There's another memory I have. I was probably in 5th or 6th grade, looking at our class picture, all shiny in its finish, and feeling such a deep pain of not belonging. I was looking in particular at my female friends with their scoop neck tops, tiny gold hoop earrings, and makeup, and wanting with all of my being to be that. Crying, upset, I talked to my mom about buying some new clothes, when so clearly it wasn't about the clothes. All I wanted was to be a girl and to have it feel as easy and seamless as my friends made it look. The anticipation of starting junior high, of leaving my little neighborhood bubble to be at a school with hundreds of new kids, upped the pressure. It was the first time in my life that I grew out my hair. I dabbled with makeup. I started wearing more jewelry. I shot more often in the junior girls' clothing department. This, too, was a game of survival. Although I've always been quick-witted and slightly smart-mouthed, part of my survival in junior high was developing an on-the-offensive sense of humor, and to become ridiculously loud and pretty effing obnoxious. In fact, I had 2 girls call me up one day and threaten to kick my ass just because I was loud, but that's a different story for another time. I was adding layers upon layers over the pain and shame I felt. What I didn't let folks see behind all of that humor and volume was my tenderness. My mom had to put my hair up in a ponytail for me for the first 2 years my hair was long because my hands didn't know how to do it. There was no muscle memory. It didn't come easily to me. My mom and I shared an intimacy each morning when she'd curl my bangs for me before school. By the time I reached high school, I thought I had this girl thing down. I had started learning tennis and running every morning before school. My body was changing, becoming slimmer. Boys were starting to find me attractive, and I liked that. And there were still these moments where my camouflage wasn't doing its job. Like the moment a coworker at the ice cream shop I worked in all through high school called me manly, or when my boyfriend's cousin referred to me as Dual Man, a play on my last name. Wasn't I doing a good job? Didn't I belong? Simultaneously, my addictions were slowly growing. I'd gotten drunk for the first time before leaving junior high. I was getting high in 9th grade. My anxiety was so bad that I would take 1 to 2 Imodium AD every school day to ensure that I wouldn't have diarrhea at school. I was learning how to cope. I was learning how to numb how terrible I felt inside. I was learning that if I just left myself long enough, I could forget that I kind of sucked at being a girl. Stay tuned for more of my story as embodied by Baby Birch. Subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can follow along. For more of my work, you can find me on Instagram @Doolin or on YouTube, also @Doolin.